Hello YouTube, welcome back to another episode of Easy Prepping with your old Uncle Carl here. Today we're going to discuss fish antibiotics because I have fish and I buy fish antibiotics and I store them hoping to get a longer shelf life than what the expiration date is on the bottle. So I'm going to go over that, but first I'd like to say that I've noticed that YouTube is starting to put a lot of commercials even in the middle of my videos. And I want you to know that is not me doing that. My channel is not what they call monetized. Therefore, I am making zero doing this. And I'm making nothing off those commercials. I plan on contacting YouTube or at least researching and finding out, is this typical? Are they doing it thinking that I'm monetized? I'd really like to know. I'm mainly bringing you this video today to inform you that from what research I've done, big government is once again sticking its nose in where I don't think it belongs. But of course they do. Anyway, right now you can get fish antibiotics in the mail. I got a package yesterday. Had all of these that I purchased at a company. Here's all of that. What's the name of them? I found them to be a little bit less expensive than Chewy, where I normally get. Here's 2 months ago. I ordered these from Chewy, but you want the best price. Do your own research online, look around. But my main point is, from what I've seen online, big government is once again sticking its nose in, and as of June, I don't know an exact date, but it just says June of this year, in other words, about another month and a half from now, this is mid-April, you're not going to be able to get these without a prescription from a veterinarian. So, if you want to get these for your fish, of course, do it soon. My main point with getting these, and once again I do have fish, is that I put them in the longest way to try to keep the shelf life as I can, just using common sense. Because in an SHTF, where there's not going to be any hospitals, there's not going to be a Walgreens or a CVS pharmacy up the road that has anything in it anyway. I imagine these would be one of the first things pilfered would be antibiotics. But if it was either die or try a fish antibiotic on myself, I would do it. Now, a lot of my research shows that a lot of these pills are the exact same thing as prescribed to humans, made by the exact same companies. They're even in human doses. But part of my research shows that if you get a prescription, it's got a little alphanumeric code on the pill. Sometimes it's a small pill, you got to look close. But you would want to make sure these have an alphanumeric code. From what research I've done, alphanumeric code means it was manufactured for humans. Anyway, as a reference, before I get into how to store them, this book they're commonly known as, you can see their names here, but Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy. They have done several videos on fish antibiotics and possible use for humans. And if you want more information, I suggest you get more information. It's a doctor and a nurse. Go look at their videos. A few of their videos on antibiotics, fish antibiotics, are just a couple months old. Some of them are a few years old. But it's an information resource that I'm guiding you to. And also, I will put their link to their YouTube site and to their website where you can go and purchase this book. And if you're nice to them, they'll sign it. Mine's an autographed copy. Anyway, let's get on with how I store these. Now, my research has shown that the biggest enemy of storing any medication, whether it be antibiotics, your other prescriptions for your cholesterol, anything, even your over-the-counter drugs, your Tylenol, etc. Your enemies are heat, light, and moisture. Therefore, the absolute worst place to store any over-the-counter or prescription medicine is in the medicine cabinet in your bathroom. Your humidity goes through the roof in there every time you take a shower or bath, or you know what I mean, the mirror steams up. That's very high humidity. So you do not store them in the bathroom. And the way I store them is using my food saver, which I'll find one on Amazon and put a picture of it up here so you'll know the approximate cost. I used it a lot more for this, by the way. But with this one, I had two options on the size of the bags that you pretty much make yourself. I'll show you here in a minute. In two different size rolls. I get both depending on what I'm doing. And these pills, of course, I compared here. I can get them too wide in there. So I'll probably use the small rolls. It's a little less expensive. And that way I get more containerized, well, I can put the types with the types. And one other point I wanted to make is when I get them, I put with a Sharpie the date that I received them on the top. I put on the bottom the company I got them from, and I underscore the manufacturer's expiration date. And I've tried to research here the expiration. How far are they good beyond the expiration? I've seen all kinds of conflicting information. One note I've got here is 90% of more than 100 drugs are still good after 15 years. I've seen other notes where some of these degrade gradually over time. And once again, if you get into a situation where you or someone in your group is going to die from an infection, do you try an expired fish antibiotic or do you let them die? I think the answer is pretty obvious. Well, let's get on with how we store these. Okay, first, YouTube, I want to show you how you create a bag. You get these rolls for your food saver, and that is the actual brand on mine. They're not paying me anything for this. It's what I bought on Amazon. It's probably the one I'll put up here, show you a picture of, so you know about what they cost. And for these, I'll pull out enough where I can get a stack of 2 high and 2 wide. And that's about where I want the length of my bag. So I run my cutter across here, and now I've got you go all the way through. See? So to get this to feed in here right, I've discovered you can't have a curly edge. So you kind of have to take that edge and fold it back against the curl a little. And press it out. Stand up. Anyway, hit the seal button. Red light comes on. Put this up inside. You hear it go to work. Takes it a minute. It is heat sealing what is becoming the bottom of this bag. And it'll finish up in just a second here. So now we have a bag that has a bottom in it. What I do, I'll put these in here. You can see it has a non-really transparent side, and the other side is clear. So I put them in there so the name of the antibiotic is shown through the clear side. But one thing I forgot real quick, before I seal them, and they got a weird shape to them, take a Sharpie. Sealed. 4/23. That way you'll know when you sealed them. In the top is when they arrived, and on the side is the manufacturer's expiration date. Now, don't write with your Sharpie where you're going to be doing your next seal. In your vacuum pack. That's what I like that this thing does. Once again, curl that edge back and press. Take a little bit of the curl. You go in the opposite direction that it's rolled. And now we're going to put it in here. Do not hit the seal button because you want to do the vacuum. And here we go. And now you can see it's sucking the air out of the bag. And now we will have no moisture, no air. As long as it's stored in my basement where it's cool, we should be good for hopefully quite a while with these on the shelf. Yeah, welcome back. And one thing I forgot to do with that first bag that I meant to show you, I'm not going to reopen that one because it is vacuum sealed. It should be good. But here's my second one that I'm doing. One thing I do just to make sure I get no moisture in there ever from condensation, a desiccant pack I put down in there. The silica gel is what these are called by the manufacturer. It's what's printed on there. One quick tip, if you want to keep some of these free, when you open a pill bottle and you get these inside with it, that's the same thing. They're just normally really small packs. I save them in an airtight container and then usually put them inside with my ammo cans. After I build up a few of them there, I'll stick them in the ammo cans. But now I'm going to take a few of these silica gel packs and put them down inside here with the antibiotics. And we'll reseal that. And then I'm hoping I got enough room here. Let's cut this bag a little bit short. But let's see if it'll vacuum seal. There we go. And now we're vacuum sealing with desiccant packs inside, so we'll never have any moisture in there. As long as it keeps this, you can see it's vacuum sealed around these jars. As long as it keeps that tight, you know that there's no air in there. It's keeping the vacuum seal. So here's our second group of antibiotics with the names where you can read them. And I take them down there and I put them in my prepper bin that's labeled pills. And there they will stay for, well, until I need them for my fish, of course. Well, I just went ahead and finished. I sealed up the last three that I had here that I got from the last month or two. I went ahead and got them sealed, ready for the prepper bin. But one thing I wanted to point out to you in the book, page 148, antibiotics available, well, basically fish antibiotics. And it is the milligrams, the dosages, goes through the pages which fish antibiotic would you use for what in dosages. And anyway, highly recommend getting this book, because if a true SHTF hit, especially one along the lines of an EMP, which we might be looking more at, you're not going to have the internet to get this information from. And if you do get some fish antibiotics before June, you're going to need to know dosages for what, especially if you don't have a doctor handy. So, once again, highly recommend their book. And for today's quote, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. That is by Benjamin Franklin. And if you have not already clicked that subscribe button, please do so. Click that big thumbs up like button. I would greatly appreciate it. And thank you for watching.